Hola English hoes! Taking a break from transformations today, and we're gonna talk about everybody's favorite, writing essays! Right? Because every morning I have 3 eggs, 2 pieces of toast, 1 cup of echinacea tea, and a big hunk of essay writing. This video was a request a while ago. But remember, if you guys have any video requests, leave a comment below and I will make you a video. Comment below and I'll make you a video. Sweet deal. I know. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. It helps me a lot. And click that little notification bell down there if you want to know when I upload a new video every single week. Okay. Now, we are gonna handle this video like my other writing videos for the CAE. We'll break it down into 4 parts. The 4 parts that they score you by at Cambridge. Mainly content, communicative achievement, organization, and language use. Alright, so let's get started with content. And we have to look at an example essay prompt in order to explain this area of scoring. Today's example provided by the test makers themselves. I'm taking my example from cambridgeenglish.org. This is the website where you can register for the test, but they also have awesome examples and sample tests, past tests, scoring comments, and they tell you all about the format, and they give you some killer resources, some books you can use, or some downloadable files you can purchase. Okay, but here's a typical essay prompt. Okay, let's take this baby apart. You've got your basic essay question in the first box. They really like boxes, I don't know. What facilities should receive money from local authorities? Museums, sports centers, or public gardens? Gardens, duh. Save the world, guys. Then in the other box, you've got some imaginary quotes from people about each of the topics. And these could be used for support or as supporting details. Now, they typically give you 3 choices to write about, but you're only going to write about 2. So choose carefully. Side note, remember, when you choose things to write about for the Cambridge prompts, essays, reports, whatever, don't always choose what you want to write about. Be a strategic hoe. Think about what you can write about the most easily. Pick what topic you'll be able to produce details about. Closer to the bottom of this prompt, we see write about 2 of these options, explaining which is more important, and then give your reasons why. So, to get a high score on content, yes, you need to answer the basic question, which facility deserves the money? Bitch better have my money! But also super important is that you give clear explanations as to why, and as you describe the 2 options that you chose. Your final answer is key, but your explanation is the beef on that burger, okay? So don't leave Cambridge starving, because they will let you know. Ho. Okay, so let's go to communicative achievement. Communicative achievement. Does it look like an essay? Is it using essay style? Is it using essay conventions? That's the goal we're trying to achieve. Come on, collocations, achieve a goal. You're welcome. Now, communicative achievement is annoyingly difficult to talk about without talking about organization or language use. But for now, let's highlight 3 do's for this area of scoring. Number 1, do be formal. Number 2, do follow a structured essay format. Oh my god, I'm having too much fun. Number 3, do give your opinion, but like not too much. Okay, I'll explain. Number 1, do be formal. So treat this like an academic essay for school. Don't use contractions, don't use slang, don't try to be funny, don't be cracking jokes, girl. Okay, but speaking of jokes, just one, okay? I promise, just one. Okay, how many tickles does it take to make an octopus laugh? 10 tickles. Get it? Oh my god. And like tentacles, like octopuses have tentacles, right? Like tentacles.
I'll let myself out.
Yeah, don't do that. Use formal grammatical structure, use formal vocabulary, but we'll talk about those later. When they score you for this section, they want to see formatting. Paragraphs, and clear ones. If you are writing essays without paragraphs, you know, just like one big chunk of words and sentences down the page, attention, please stop.
Oh.
Just stop.
You can't do that. Oh, Lord.
They want to see a clear opening, you know, like what are we talking about? What's our subject? At least 2 body paragraphs, 1 paragraph for each of your choices. In our example, 1 paragraph about funding for museums and another paragraph about funding for sports centers. And then make them even in length with like the same amount of details and explanations if you can. And then 1 paragraph for a conclusion. And the conclusion is where you can make your choice very clear. You know, the sports centers should receive the funding or whatever your choice is. You can put it there. Whether you're taking the CAE on the computer or in writing, I think most people choose the writing option. When you switch to a new paragraph, skip a line. Leave a line in between your paragraphs. It's so simple, it's not hard, but it's so necessary so they know that you understand what an essay looks like, how it's structured, how we break up our ideas by using paragraphing. Does she look like an essay? If not, then she can go. She can get out. Bye girl, later. And then whatever opinion you give, make sure you give details to support it. I looked at some past sample essays and they provided comments by the raters, scores. I noticed that the higher scores, the raters would write things like this. Student gives sufficient support for the claims and for the opinions. Student gives enough details and reasoning for their choices. So, don't just make a claim and then leave it. Expand on it like a balloon. Okay, at number 3, this is tricky. You do need to give an opinion. In our example topic, make a choice for which facility deserves the funding, but make it an objective opinion. This is so weird. This is where Cambridge shows us that they value the formality of the essay a little bit over giving the opinion. Because in really formal writing, we don't use those simple phrases like, I think,
and in my opinion, and for me.
We don't focus on ourselves, right? We keep it objective. We keep it away from ourselves. I'm on my knees right now, I hope you know that. I'm on my knees for you. I don't do that for just anybody, okay? Well, so the language you use needs to be something like this. Overall, funding for a public park is the optimum solution because... So you see how the reader knows what my stance is, the reader knows my opinion, but I didn't have to say, I think this, or in my opinion, this. It's really important to keep this type of objective tone throughout the entire essay. Okay, organization, let's do it. We just talked about organization at the bigger level. So their main organization scoring area focuses more on the smaller level, like the grammatical things, the vocabulary items you use to organize your essay. So make sure you use your, what do you call them? Your adverbs of transition, transitional adverbs, linking adverbs, but make sure you use advanced ones. You know, on the other hand, therefore, subsequently, consequently, so on and so forth. But this is very important. You need to go beyond these as well and recognize that there are other ways and other connecting devices that you should be using as well, or in addition to the linking adverbs. I noticed in the sample scoring, they used these advanced adverbs, stuff like therefore or furthermore, but they were still getting like 3s and 4s. So here's some other things that you can use. Try using specific subordinate clauses to link your paragraphs together or the sentences within your paragraphs. Breathe. For example, participle clauses. I know, again, with the participle clauses. Here's an example from one of the examples. Having listened to the radio program about facilities that need financial help, woo, she's a long one. I realized that sports centers and public gardens have been neglected for years by local authorities. Okay, so having listened to the radio program is the participle clause, but we also know it's a subordinate clause because of that comma, and you should be doing this with your conjunctions too. For example, due to the expenses of sports centers, most people choose to do free outdoor activities. So there I'm using due to, which is a conjunction, but I'm moving its clause to the front, and this kind of makes it act as more of a connection from the previous sentence. Another thing, use prepended prepositional phrases, things like in regard to public parks, in terms of expenses, and then also just be careful, they look very closely at how you set up a paragraph. They want to make sure that you can flow clearly from a topical idea to a smaller or more specific detail. For example, today we see a lot of kids suffering from obesity. One reason for this is they look to make sure that you can introduce the topic but then expand on it and follow it up with details, examples, reasons, and support. How does A relate to B? These are subtle organizational patterns that you might not think about, but that they pay attention to very closely. So you should too. Don't just throw random sentences in your paragraph because you want it to look a little longer. They'll see that, they'll clock it, and they'll be like, no. You can't hide from them. They know what you're doing. And finally, my favorite section, language use. Thank God. So the usual formal stuff for formal writing. Vary the lengths of your sentences. Use complicated grammar, longer claused sentences, multiple clauses, etc. But throw in some shorter ones too for emphasis. Not too many, but you can throw one in here or there. Academic vocabulary. Use the big words if you can, but don't get crazy. And on that note, remember, sometimes less is more. If strong academic vocabulary fits appropriately into your sentence, then use it. But don't use 10 big words in a sentence just because you want to use 10 words in a sentence. If it feels forced, don't do it. It tends to look like you're trying too hard, and also this is when students often use some of those words incorrectly. But you do need to come to this sentence prepared. So get a Cambridge trainer, get a book, learn some new academic vocabulary, learn some advanced grammatical structures, and then go for it. And then the grammar. You need to show that you can use complex grammar. Things like formal passives, link to that video below, clef sentences, inversion, conditionals, relative clauses. I have videos on all of these things, so if I don't have the link below, just look around my channel. Just surf around my channel, you'll find some stuff. And just like vocabulary, simple grammar is okay, but not too much. Use your simple stuff like a break, like give your reader a little break here, a little break there. It's all about balance. Oh, which reminds me, tip. When you're practicing essay writing, read your essay out loud. The way we say it often mirrors good written grammar. If you're reading a sentence and you need a breath, then that means you need to break that sentence up. Stop, put a period, start a new sentence, use a semicolon. So it really helps reading things out loud. Okay. Now before we finish, I'll just say this. Yes, this is an essay, and in school we learn how to write essays in certain ways. And the CAE essay isn't too terribly different. But try to think about this task as separate from what you already know. Do some research about what they're looking for. Go to cambridgeenglish.org, download the sample tests, read the raters' comments. I mean, wouldn't you want to read what the actual raters would write about your writing? It's gold, but so few students actually do that kind of research. And it's actually quite formulaic. You just have to see it and study it, like anything else. So that's all that matters here. What does Cambridge want? 2 options to write about, make a choice, use clear paragraphs, learn about, and what are fingers? Learn about other connecting structures besides the basic adverbs, and learn some academic vocabulary, and learn some advanced grammatical structures. That's all. Yeah, no big deal. Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached our final destination. Please remember to collect all personal items and belongings as you exit the plane. My name is Mike, and I have thoroughly enjoyed traveling with you today on Teacher Mike ESL Airways. We do hope to see you again, and please remember to subscribe to my channel. Ho.